Live. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I know you're happy that Friday's here, not so much so that it's raining. I can't really go outside. I think it's still a little kind of gloomy, but I believe the weather's supposed to pick up. All right, so as we close up this week, I want to talk to you guys about careers in college. So I'm Maximilian Keeper. This is a Gleimps, and this is brought to you live by, I'm getting my companies confused with GNF Unlimited Incorporated. I work with another company called Roximo Sports, and I do live streams for them as well. So I was kind of like mixing up the two names in my head. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about careers after college. And if you made it to this point in your life where you're actually thinking about careers, where you're looking in for jobs, congratulations, because I know it's not an easy task to do. I mean, there's so many things that just kind of go around in your head, kind of like struggling and knocking things over. Ignore all that. I'm sorry for the background noise. But as I was saying, as you kind of like, looking for jobs and things like that, a lot of stuff is going over your head. Maybe you're having some doubts about, your employability or how to go about with your degree. Some of you guys are kind of like still maybe juniors, seniors in college, and you might even be considering changing your degree right now. And I know that's like a whole thing in itself, because I went there at one point. You see, when I went to college, I was all ambitious. I was just itching to be this like business guy kind of thing. Like I saw myself, I'm not really in particular direction, but I saw myself kind of like in the field of like environmental business. Like I'm selling people like biofuels and all sorts of things like that. And I was thinking of how to get there in my life. So I was thinking, okay, I was thinking I was going to go for like 3 different degrees, one after the other. And then I kind of measure like the practicality of how that's actually going to work out. So you see, I went to school for business first. I was thinking I was going to spend 2 years at CCAC for business. I was going to go for another 2 years in like engineering. I was going to go for another 2 years in environmental science. And then I was going to like take the other 2 years for like finishing off those degrees to get like a full bachelor's degrees in each field, and then go for a doctorate. Mind you, I was like 18 when all this was happening. So I don't know. I had ambition, and I was following my ambitions, but sometimes you gotta kind of weigh practicality of some things out. So at one point, like kind of in my sophomore year, or I think it actually was my junior year when I was kind of transferring in between colleges. Before I went to finish off my bachelor's degree, I first went to community college for the first 2 years in business, and then I wanted to go for either economics or environmental science for my next 2 years at a university. And I kind of like looked at different universities. I looked at like the practicality of some of these degrees, like the employability of economics, the employability of environmental science. And then I kind of really realized I wasn't so much caring about the employability as much as I was caring about like my actual intrinsic interest, living a life of meaning and things like that. So I still was kind of like in my phase of like, I want to do something involved with machines. So before I went back to college, I actually went to trade school. I went to Pittsburgh Job Corps. At the time I qualified for it. It's like a free trade school. If you're under 25, you still can qualify for it. They have a whole lot of excellent trades out there, ranging from like weatherization, which is kind of like building a house from the ground up. They also have electrical construction, which is what I went to school for, electrical construction, because I knew I wanted to be like working with like solar panels and things like that, as well as just kind of like have a better idea if I had a lot of things like, more sustainable manner. And they certainly do teach you that kind of stuff. So I went to school for that. I was trying to round out my degree a little bit before I go back in this. So I have something to kind of like add to my degree, because it's not enough sometimes just to go in for particular one thing and be so monolithic about it. And we'll get into that later. But basically, at that point, when I got back into college after finishing up my trade, I just couldn't wait to get out of college. So I went in with ambition. I had like so many things I was like on my mind that I wanted to do. And the thing is, that's exactly what it was. I wanted to go do these things, and I saw college kind of like as an obstacle, kind of like a little bit kind of in my way of actually achieving these things. So I wanted to graduate college as quick as possible. So I actually switched on my major 2 times while I was in college. I got accepted into Chatham University in 2018 for environmental science and minors in botany, and that's something I really love, and I actually might still go back to college for that. But I also really wanted to graduate. A lot of my credits from when I was in my business degree area back at CCAC didn't carry over, so I think only like 30 of them out of 560 actually carried over. So that was a whole lot of credits. I also just completely down the toilet when I went through like environmental science because a lot of that wasn't, mutual with the environmental science degree. So basically, I was kind of considering how long I was going to be in college and things like that. And I'm not saying college is bad or anything like that. And college is very great, and it's not, it wasn't holding me back. It just I had things I really wanted to do, kind of. So I was kind of weighing things out, how to get the best of both worlds. I knew I wanted to still be in like the realm of business, economics, but also still in the same realm of like environmental science. So I was like kind of weighing these two things out a little bit. And basically, I found that there was a degree at Chatham University called Sustainable Business, sustainability really, but there's a focus in business, and that's kind of how I got involved into sustainability. It's the best of both worlds. It's environmental science and business put together into one smorgasbord, and bam, bam, done. So basically, I'm following my career, I'm following my passions, and I'm satisfied with where I'm going. That's the thing. It's more or less just follow your efforts. You have your passions, you have your intrinsic interest and all that, and that really ultimately defines your course in life, where you're going to go. It's education is ultimately a personal thing. You know what I mean? It's personalized to you, or at least it should be that way, right? You should be kind of just focusing on how you want to build yourself up. You are not defined by your degree. So some of you guys kind of feel like maybe I'm trapped because I took this degree and I'm looking at, Bureau of Labor Statistics and it's saying it's not really an employable thing. I'm feeling kind of doomed and I can't afford to go back to college. I don't have time to do that because I got all these extra priorities that just kind of, accumulated over life. And it's tough. It's definitely tough, but don't let that hold you down. Again, education completely personalized, and I feel like we do live in a kind of like a rigid type of pedantic society where things are just strictly by the rules. If you have this degree, you're going to be strictly in that degree, and it's not always the case. My college advisor, lovely lady, Dr. Lyndon Johnson, Linda Johnson. There we go, missing up names. That's something you're going to probably hear me do a lot in the future. But it happens. Dr. Linda Johnson. She's a botanist, and she is such a wonderful person. Very encouraging throughout my whole college career at Chatham University. Her first 4 years for her bachelor's was actually in French literature, I believe. And eventually she went back to college for botany, something I love doing, but there's such huge contrast between each other. So as somebody that was like still interested in going back to college for a doctorate in economics, I asked her how was she able to actually like gain the attraction of these universities to actually, accept her, her background as a French major and, go into science. And she just said, it's all about how you market yourself. She interned for some other people. She worked with some people that like in the realm of science, I believe, if I'm recalling the story correctly. Basically she used her background to build up a status report with herself, her professional profile, and she basically marketed herself well to these universities, and they accepted her. And now she is a botanist, and a mighty good one at that too. Great professor, great advisor if you're at Chatham University. You'll absolutely love her. I have no doubt you will. Not. I just want you guys to kind of keep that in mind that you're not defined by a college career. Not defined by a college degree, and really it's all ultimately about just following your interests, following your efforts. And there comes a time when we're looking for jobs that we just kind of like, we come at that point where we realize we spend a lot of time in college, a lot of time in high school, and not really a lot of time working sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I know that's a common case for a lot of people where they just, they're great students. They got all A's. They've been in so many academic clubs and stuff like that. And then when they try to think about work experience, maybe they don't have any work experience. They just got straight A's. And it's like, how do I market myself now? It's like, you got a college degree. Congratulations. You got A's. Congratulations. But what is your experience with consulting? What is your experience with, being in law and stuff like that? And that's very intimidating when you're first looking for jobs because, how do you market yourself with a professional background, and you kind of don't have one. You just have an academic one. So it's basically, this is the point like your life where you actually analyze what you did in college. You break down each skill set that you've accumulated along the way. You break down the relationships that you had along the way, and you actually turn those into job set skills. You put that on resume, the things that you actually did. So maybe you did a lot with Excel. Maybe you learned a lot about marketing. You learned a lot about law. You know, you can say you're familiar with law. You can say that you have skills with accounting and stuff like that. If you did like some sort of club, you know, if you worked for like a club or something like that, you were doing their, I don't know, like the budgeting for like a project or something like that. You know, this is where you kind of like really analyze your skills, and it's something that shouldn't really hold you back. It's something that shouldn't really discourage you. I mean, it's intimidating, yes, certainly. It's not easy being like, oh, you know, I was a great student, but I don't have a professional background. It's don't let that hold you back. This is the part where you actually market yourself. This is the part where you kind of just figure things out where you are in the world, and you know, you actually make yourself into a unique individual, because that's all it's all about. Okay, you are a unique individual, and you know, you're going your own way. Do not compare yourself to other people. Now that is a humongous issue when it comes to like looking for jobs. Comparing yourself to other people, you're like, okay, this person was in the same class as me, same age as me, but they have a six-figure, seven-figure job. I don't know, jobs paying seven figures. I mean, God bless them, I think have that much. But if you, anyways, point is, just don't compare yourself to them, because there are circumstances we're not the same as yours. Everything is completely just unique to you. You know what I mean? So you go with where you are in life, and you know, you make the most out of your life. You're living for you. You're living for whomever, you know, that's dependent on you and stuff like that. But do not let your degree, do not let your job searches or the description of a job search that you're applying to define your character or define what you do in life. So there's a point in when we're like making a LinkedIn profile, we're trying to think of like things to like kind of like add to it and things like that, or volunteer experiences. It's important not to lie. Not lie when you're doing these things, because let me just put it this way: making a lie, it might get you in the door, but it's high maintenance, because you got to do a whole lot of things like maintain that lie, or exaggerations, whatever you want to call it. It's just not good to do, and it's also just bad form for yourself. It also creates a lot of doubt in yourself as well, because then you feel like, you know, you're actually not being sincere with yourself. You have to constantly be this person that you're not, and it's actually very hindering to your skill sets if you think about it. So the idea is to just be truthful for yourself. Analyze your skills critically. You know, analyze your life where it is now, and think of how to embellish it, how to make yourself marketable. And I know that's not, it's easier to say than actually do. I understand that completely. But I like here at GNF Unlimited, we like to encourage people. Okay, we like to encourage people from a realistic lens. Okay, we're not doing the fluff. We're not trying to feed you a bunch of platitudes or anything like that. It's something certainly I don't like doing. It's something I found so destructive when it came to looking for jobs. If you look for like this motivational video, sometimes you find like this one that probably mean well, but it's sometimes just it's not what you need. What you need is just like a realistic perspective from things. So understand that. So yeah, so there's the professional student aspect of it. You made it this far in life. Again, congratulations. But I want to talk to you guys about something that's like plaguing a lot of college graduates, you know, people that are trying to just get their feet wet into like their career, and sometimes we're just desperate to get a job, desperate to get an internship. And one thing that we see a lot of is scams, or just opportunities that are just not really viable. Now, I'm not going to, I've grown to hate the word opportunity, because usually the word opportunity leads into like a multi-level marketing scheme. And I'm not here to like, you know, bash on multi-level marketing. Some people actually make it work. I'm not going to say it's a scam. Personally, I just don't find it as a practical route to go. I mean, some people, you know, they swear by it. I guess if it works for them, it works for them. But I would say it's probably not the best route to take if you're, you know, trying to go for like a professional career and trying to get your feet wet and trying to build up a report for yourself. So, you know, that's an option. But, you know, again, you got to evaluate where it's going to take you in life and all that stuff like that. You know, you got to be just wise. You know, you just got to think about things critically. But there's some jobs that are just blatantly scammy. We're talking about the jobs that like take your credit information and, you know, skip town and get all your information. Just, you know, hear from them again, stuff like that. Or the ones that are just like, I don't know if you ever got like these emails. I know when I was in college, I got a lot of emails saying basically, "Hey, I'm a alumni from our university, and I need somebody to walk my dog. I'm gonna pay them $500 a week to do it, or I'm gonna, I'm somebody that works with, somebody that works with the university." They never say what the university is. They just say our university. That's kind of like really vague, and they always have like these really grandiose like pay scales for like really menial jobs. Like, I need you to be kind of like my secretary. I'll pay you like, I don't know, $60,000 for just 2 days of work. It's just unbelievable. Those are usually red flags, but sometimes like we're like job searching after job searching, and we're not in a right mind. We can kind of like find ourselves starting to like type away at it, like, well, maybe this job needs me to think like, wait a second, this isn't right. There's a lot of jobs out there that also have like fake URLs, and we're talking about companies that spell Goldman Sachs with maybe a K instead of a CH at the end of it. And you're thinking, oh, Goldman Sachs has reached out to me. This looks good. The website looks great and all that, but then you realize it's all completely false. And it's the next thing you know, they're asking you for like payment in gift cards. I'm gonna put it this way: no job that's sincere will ever ask you to pay to get the job. Okay, that's never going to happen. Another thing they're never going to do is ask you for your bank information or anything like that, personal information, and they won't ask you for your social security before you get the job. Now, a lot of times when it comes to like scam jobs, they kind of like hire you right up on the spot, just on the email alone. They're like, email us back and you get the job right away, and you email them back, and then bam, you get the job right away, and they want all this stuff from you. Yeah, that's really scummy tactics in a lot of college graduates. A lot of you guys, can see the red flags that there's a lot of people that still fall for it. So, and there's a lot of jobs like that on Indeed and some other, job websites. Indeed's mostly safe for the most part, but there's like some other jobs out there, like job offers that are just completely not trustworthy that you just gotta watch out for. So again, it's just something to be cautious about. And some jobs are actually just as good as they sound. I mean, some jobs that are too good to be true is actually just that, too good to be true. And sometimes you can't always judge a book by its cover, and other times you can judge a book by its cover because the name of the author is wrong and the name of the publishing company is wrong. So yeah, it's just all something to keep in mind. But again, it's all about how you build yourself and just kind of just keeping an open eye out there for things. It's if you feel like you didn't do enough in college, it's not too late to kind of like start really developing on your skill sets, or it's not too late to start connecting with people. Huge thing about college is about the people you connect with. I've always heard that from so many different times of, when I was looking at universities. I was looking at small universities, big universities, and I was always wondering what's the difference because they're all pretty much like they're roughly the same. I mean, they kind of just give you a bunch of PowerPoints. The PowerPoints are kind of just like a regurgitation of what the textbook says a little bit, and then you kind of just Google search the rest of it. You know what I mean? And every university is almost just like that to some degree. And I was thinking, what's the deal with that? And a lot of times you always get told it's more or less about the networking. Like how often these jobs look at these universities. You know, uh, Basically the connections that are involved in that school. Like professors. They have like a whole background to them. They've written books and stuff like that. Like I think the guy's name is Phillips and Otter, the guy that did like the guy that did the Stanford prison experiment. I might have the first name incorrect, but I believe the last name is Alder. Anyways, he's a professor at a community college last time I checked, and that was a huge experiment that's like super famous. You always hear about it, and that community college has that guy as a connection, and a lot of people probably are getting really good, resources out of that guy. Just going to that community college somewhere, I believe in California, if I have it correct. Anyways, fact check me on that. But it's all about the connections sometimes. And I don't like using the word networking because it just feels so weird and icky. Like the idea about having to network with my friends to get like something out of them, it's not something that's really of my interest. Now, one good website that I love doing if it comes to networking is meetup.com, which is just like a website that kind of where people just post their interest like in like on the internet, like, oh, we're gonna meet up for like speaking Spanish, or doing salsa dancing or boating, or a whole bunch of stuff on that website. And some of it can lead to really good resources if you connect to the right type of people. Some of them are just specifically designed for making those connections with people. So that's a good way of kind of like networking out there. LinkedIn, I don't really like networking through LinkedIn. A lot of stuff, again, a lot of the stuff is red flags just going off. A lot of that is, not sincere offers. Some of it is, I know a lot of people that got great careers, like job offers through LinkedIn and stuff like that. And sometimes I always hear people that got kind of got bamboozled a little bit. So, again, I'm not saying be paranoid, don't trust any of these websites. They're great websites. I'm just saying be cautious, just use some critical thinking, which obviously you have. I'm not saying you don't have it. Just hear me out, be cautious. So connections is important when it comes to like looking for jobs after college, and it's skill sets that you kind of build up along the way. Volunteer experience, that's great as well. You can kind of make connections there. Um, it's it's a whole process. I mean, you went through the process of going through college, studying and stuff like that, and now you have a whole nother thing they might consider. And I understand a lot of times it's like about kind of like about how much this job is paying you because now you're out of your college dorm. You gotta find a place to live. Things are expensive right now. The housing market is, oh man, it's in a real estate bubble. There is inflation going on. There's a whole lot of things to like consider right now, and all that's very taxing on your emotions, your mental well-being and stuff like that as you try to figure things out in college or after college. But again, you ultimately have to be your own influence, your own encouragement. Just take things for where they are. Don't doubt yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. Just, kind of figure things out. Take it slowly if you have to, but don't jump into things right away because, sometimes that's just more destructive than constructive. So, a good place to look at, like, the prospects of your degree is a bit better. That's something I wanted to mention before that with the scams. A good way to check out another thing to check out for like red flags and scams is go to the Better Bureau of Labor app. Better Business Bureau. There we go. I believe you can leave the URL links of some of these connections and see if the company's legitimate or not. And that's a good way of checking it out. Some companies are young, so it's not really a good metric for all things. I mean, if you see something a company was made like I don't know 5 years ago and it's like not showing up there, it happens sometimes, but it doesn't mean the company's not legitimate. But for any case, that's a good way of checking out the scam. The other thing is the URLs. If it's a government job, it says .com, .gov. You got a problem. If it's a university and it says .com instead of .edu, you got a problem. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, a good way to check out like the viability of your degree and like where the market is going is go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that's not always a good indication of how your career is going to be. Because I know it's crazy because I know somebody that was working at the what's it called? They worked in logistics, supply chain, and stuff like that. They were making great money, and they were working for the name of that trucking company. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Off the top of my head, it's a famous one. Anyways, they're working for a trucking company that's well established throughout the U.S. and they had a degree in art, not logistics, but it's again how they market themselves and they show through competency. It's a matter of showing your competency to a lot of these companies. If you have the employable skills, I mean, who's going to argue with you? Obviously you have the patience to go through college, you have the competency to make it that far, and you are basically an enterprising scholar, even after college, which is, very important. Learning does not stop at school. Don't let academia define your ability to learn. I mean, you always should be developing new skills and, developing new interests and stuff like that, or delving deeper into your interests. So, like I said, a good place to look at the potential for your career, not your career, but your degree is through the Bureau of Labor Statistics that has like all sorts of stats and stuff like that. And you can kind of get an idea of how to like finesse your skill sets into other realms of like related work. So if you do business, you might be able to find yourself in a good position of like making yourself appealing to maybe like in accounting or economics thing. It really depends on the skill set that you develop along the way. So it's a journey, it's a process. I know it's hard. It's definitely hard for me. Sometimes when it comes to like still thinking about like what I want to do and in terms of like going back to grad school, I'm still debating whether I want to actually go for economics or if I want to go for environmental science for what do you call it, PhD, no, master's. There we go. So lost that word. Anyways, anyways, it's a journey, and again, you are a scholar even after college. So, anyways, hopefully that was encouraging to you. We'll see you guys again next week. Next week we're going to be actually covering the topics of, let's see here, engineering, and that will be May 29th. So it's going to be a busy week next week, and as we close out this month, some of you guys might have felt like it hasn't been fruitful and conducive in your life. Others might have found it to be quite revolutionary. But regardless of where you are, just always analyze, what you have and how you can better what you have. You know what I mean? So don't think about the past. Don't think about if I did this, I could be this. Where if I was more like that person, if I just concentrated more, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's just cannibalizing yourself. You know what I mean? So, anyways, we'll see you next week. This is Maximilian Keeper, and this has been a glimpse, and that is a glimpse of what we know. All right.